Hey, I'm Yipley, and welcome back to the new Super Mario Bros. DS Any% Speedrun tutorial. And today we're going to be covering Shell Route Part 2. So this will go over the Gauntlet section of Shell Route, where there's going to be a lot of difficult and pretty awkward movement. So just get ready for some of that, especially in like 8.6 and 8.7. It just gets really weird. 8.8.2. So basically the whole thing. Where it's pretty trivial though, and where we're going to start today, is actually 8.5 here. So 8.5, I mean, it's essentially a one-trick level. You're going to do a QSG at the start, and that's pretty much the whole thing. I mean, yeah. So it's literally just run right and QSG off the first ledge. One little pointer, if I can give any pointer here, is just don't try QSGing too early, because you will slip and die in the lava pit. So don't do that. But, I mean, it's just a QSG here, so I'll try to demo this real quick. So you just run right, QSG. Simple as that. Rest of the level, extremely trivial. I mean, it's just a standard 8.5. I'll show the whole thing just in case you want to see. But yeah, it's nothing at all, really. Just jump up the guys, and very, very easy. I'll also show what happens if you do happen to miss QSG. Just in case that, you know, transpires in a run. You don't want to be stuck and be like, oh no, what the heck do I do? It doesn't actually lose much time at all, only like 0.3 or so seconds. So, I'll show that off too. I'm not going to go over it, it's just an unleft path that you can copy if you need to. But let's just say, oops, I messed it up. You can kill this guy, big bounce off there, and you're just going to bounce off this one, kill that one. Try to go over that platform if you can. If not, you know, you can improvise it. Don't spend much time on the slanted platforms, and yeah, it's just pretty simple stuff. Small jump there, and you're gonna make your way on to the pipe and finish it out with a pretty decent time. Should still be a 268. So yeah, that's 8.5. Pretty basic level. Yeah, just real easy stuff. But what's not so easy is 8.6. Alright, so for 8.6, I'm just going to commentate over some pre-recorded runs because the lava makes it really hard to demonstrate things in-game. So we're just kind of gonna like analyze some video footage of some optimal runs I put together. So I mean, Shell Route 8.6 beginning, pretty much exactly the same. You just go. Movement's a little bit different, but it's the same pretty much. It's just the mechanics of it. Here we're gonna actually, let me just put it in slow-mo. We're actually just going to kill the Goomba and then unmorph, because this is a nice unmorph spot. You see I unmorphed there. I could have unmorphed a little earlier, but unmorph there. Going to get up here. Pretty easy stuff so far. This is all normal. Alright, this is where things change a little bit. I'll put it in super slow-mo. So, once we're here, we're going to actually, you see this Koopa here, ordinarily, if you're taking Fire Route, you'd probably just get on this corner of the block, and then try to beat the Koopa up to this wall jump spot and go up from there. But instead, because we have Shell, we can actually just like phase through the guy. So if you see here, I'm just going to go in the Shell, phase through him, and then unmorph and bounce off of him. And it's just much more consistent and less risky. So that's pretty much what you're going to be going for. And you'll see by doing that, I bounce right up onto this ring right here. So that's what you're going to do for that. Just a little pretty quick there. After this is where things start getting really complicated for 8.6, and just really not fun. Alright, so, essentially, as soon as you get off the spring, you're just gonna hold full right. Just get full right lock on. Let's see, I kind of do that here. I hit the wall pretty early, and then I go right back left, and the real goal here, the ultimate goal of this movement off of the spring, is just to land on this, like, corner. You want to land on probably just like the right half of this last little rectangle here. You just want to land as far right as possible on this platform. And the reason we'll do that is because if you see here, he's going to jump off immediately after he lands. And he didn't brush this platform at all, so he keeps full speed. And the reason that's important is because he has higher speed now, so he can get morphed into the shell right here. And that's going to be really, really nice for him, because he's going to be able, or I say him, this is my recording, but we're going to be able to bounce off of this. So that's just a really like surprisingly tight thing, and it's going to take some time to learn. But you just need to land as far right as possible on this, so you can immediately jump up, and then you have to delay your jump out of morph too, because if you jump too early, you're not going to get into a morph state. You're just going to bonk here. So yeah, if we do that all properly, we'll get into a morph state, and then hit this thing quite low down. I can go back some frames, right? Yeah, look at that. Look how low I hit down on this. Like, I'm there, or there, like when I bounce off that block. So you need to be really ballsy to do this. But essentially, that's what you do. And you bounce back this way. And the path I would recommend, which is what this video is going to do right now, is you actually unmorph here, and then just take the right route pretty normally. And if you don't do this properly, the spinies are going to get really annoying and in your way. So just keep that in mind. If you do go for this right side route, I kind of messed up there. It's going to be scary if you mess up. So yeah, that's that. The rest of the level's pretty free. We'll see what time I get. I think it's like a, yeah, that's going to be a 69. Yeah, so that's like a high 60, mid to high 69. So very fast. There is a faster way, which I'm also going to show at the beginning of this video here. So this is an alternative route you can do. I believe Jay goes for this. Glitch goes for the other one. I also go for this route sometimes. But it's the same thing pretty much, just a little slightly different spiny route. So see, all this is the same. Phase through the Koopa, jump up, land on the right side here, and then this is where things start going a little bit different. So I'll get in a shell here, bounce, but instead of unmorphing, I'm just going to bounce again. And then I'm going to try to go up into this spot, and it gets really nasty. You saw I already did like 3 bounces, and those bounces aren't consistent at all. You could be where I am right now, you could be bouncing off of this screen thing, you could go under here if you did it like really short. So you need to be able to improvise and react really quickly if you go the left side route. But theoretically, if you get like perfect bounces, you can get way up here really fast, and it's faster. But you'll see I just did kind of this, and it's awkward, but it works. And eventually I get up there with a really fast time, actually. Even with this ground pound, I believe we got like a high 69, or yeah, almost a 70. So you know, this is really fast, but also extremely inconsistent. So I wouldn't recommend this completely, but it's definitely an option. Yeah, so you get high 69 there. So yeah, we'll just run through what I recommend you do first here, and just kind of show it as a whole. So this is what you probably should be going for. So I'll just let it play here. Get the Koopa bounce there. Land on the right side, go morph, bounce, and get up there very nicely. One other little tiny thing that you can actually do is once you get up to this pipe up here, you can actually do a space jump and then wall jump off of the top of these volcano things to go up the volcano without even going in the cannon. Well, obviously that's going to be way too difficult for what we're going for right now, but maybe like far off in the future, someone goes for this in run like legitimately, and maybe it will be required, but I don't really see that right now. So just a thought for the future. More importantly though, troubleshooting with the right side method. So if you don't get your full speed, let's say you land not on the corner here, but you kind of mess up and land like, let's say here. Essentially, you're not going to get in morph state, you're going to bounce here. And instead of bouncing off here, you're just going to have to use your momentum to bring you in like a curved arc. It's kind of something like we would do in Bowser's Castle with that one jump, and I think it's like the 5th room or something, where we're just going to use our momentum to carry us over here, and then just try to beat these spinies. Like, you see, the spinies going right, but if you're slow, he's going to be left, he's going to be chilling right here, and you're just going to have to like get up here, barely clip up here, and just immediately jump again. It gets really tight depending on how fast you go, how slow, fast you mess up. So yeah, you just need to keep that in mind when doing this. It's pretty risky stuff. So yeah, that's essentially 8-6. I think this slowing down teaching method's probably a little better, honestly. Maybe I should have been doing this the whole tutorial. Oh well. I'm gonna go back to what I normally do for 8-7. So yeah, we'll do 8-7 now. Alright, 8-7, the weird level. So as you may remember from the normal tutorial series or just doing your normal runs, we're going to use fire hops in this level, but we don't have fire. So how does that work? So instead of using fire, we're actually going to use a shell to cancel the animation of grabbing the ledge. So the beginning is as you'd expect, just do some unmorphs. But when we get to here, we're going to, first of all, we're going to go into the shell there to kill that green Koopa, so that obviously we don't hit him. But once we get to here, we're going to grab this second Koopa shell and then throw it across the gap so that we can do good stuff. And basically how that happens is after you kill the green Goomba, you unmorph so you can land on the red Koopa, and then you're going to release right. And the reason we release right, I'll try to demonstrate it here really quickly, is if we're sliding on a ledge and try to land on a Koopa, we won't pick up their shell. So as you saw there, I was sliding on the ledge, and I just take the shell. I was holding Y the whole time, which usually would make you pick up a shell, but he just didn't. So that's bad. We do not want to be holding right while falling. We only really hold right after we picked up the Koopa initially. So let me see if I can demonstrate it here. I'm not going to hold right, so you'll see I won't slide on this wall here, but I will pick up the Koopa shell once he comes back. So I'm just going to do this, and then I start holding right after I picked up the shell. So that's essentially what we need to be thinking about during this section, and I'll show you it at full speed so you can kind of incorporate those concepts into the actual movement that we're going to be doing. So like I said, the initial bit, it's just this, very simple, and then once we get there, we're going to kill this guy, unmorph, don't press right until there, and then jump and throw so you can get up distance, and you get all the way across. And we're just going to body and blue shell. You don't even need to worry about fire. And we're going to get to this point and do all this, which I'll demonstrate in a second, but just so you can see it all at once. And that was actually bad. So let me quickly talk about what just happened here. So we have a boomerang guy, right? He's throwing boomerangs, he's scary, all that. Ordinarily, if he goes forward, we're just going to kill him and then jump through this gap, and we get a nice little momentum jump up this pipe, and it's pretty dang fast. But sometimes, just because how RNG works, he's going to walk backwards, and if we try unmorph jumping into here when that happens, we're just going to get hit, so that's bad. So if he walks backwards, you just need to run off here and take the little slight time loss. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but it happens. So we're just going to have to hope that he walks left. So that's that. We can go to kind of the unmorph section. I mean, you can probably just tell what we're doing just by watching it, but I'll try to explain, just in case you can't. So this is all this. Pretty simple. Oh, okay, don't throw the shell too early or else that happens. Yeah, don't do that. But, yeah, let me get back there. Kill this. Throw the shell kind of late. Jump through this gap, actually. And then here, okay, let's slow down. So we don't even grab the star here. As you may remember from Fire Out, we grab the star, go fast. But star with shell doesn't really mean anything. Okay, that's a lie. There is a really fast variant in here where you could save, I think it's like, I don't really remember, it's like a second or two, by picking up the star and then doing a star QSG. I think it's off of this ledge here, and that'll give you crazy speed, but it's like, I think it's double frame perfect. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But it's very difficult, so it's not really viable, so I thought I'd mention that. But we don't really need that star. That star is useless to us, because we can just body, and as you see, we'll jump up here to get that bounce into this spot here. So that's really nice, and we can just jump again here. And then we're just going to body this Koopa, and then after we kill him and go through that green Koopa, because I believe he's in the way, we can unmorph onto this, and of course they didn't line up then, but if you unmorph jump onto that, all the rest of the jumps will line up really nicely, and you can just chain jumps as soon as you land and get all the way through. So one final time, kind of get through. And of course we're just going to be optimizing unmorphs whenever possible. So this is kind of a final run through here. Up here, through the small gap, body, bounce, and just unmorph jump all the way, do some triples. Even get some in here, and he goes forward so we can jump into the gap, but I kind of screwed up and died. So, you know, don't do that. But you saw it works. I mean, that's 8-7. You're gonna lose time to fire out in this level. It's just gonna happen unless you go for Star QSG. So yeah, but optimize that the best you can, and you'll lose less time. So there you go. And 8-8 is coming up, I guess. All right, 8-8, the RNG level, right? Well, not really anymore, actually. 8-8 in Shell Route is surprisingly like friendly for RNG. Just with scrolling left and the general route of the level, like you don't get hit that often, or probably only like 30% of the time, compared to like the previous 60-70%. So it's really not as bad anymore, RNG wise though. Difficulty wise, like actual movement stuff, it's got definitely the most difficult QSG in the game. So there's definitely some skill going on still. It's a very awkward QSG, so you'll kind of see what I'm saying when we get there. But I guess we'll just head in. And first thing I'd like to mention, when you're in this level, you're always going to be holding the left button, scrolling left. It makes the most sense because it'll spawn the meteors further to the left side of the screen, because the meteors go obviously with where the screen is, not where Luigi is. So if we spawn the meteors to the left of Luigi, he's less likely to get hit. So that's pretty nice. This first section of level, it's just going to be basic unmorphing through, not very difficult. But once we get to here, we're going to just not unmorph up to this jump, so we're just going to stay in shell, let the meteors go, like this, and then unmorph down here just so we kill the Kabam, and it's a little safer. So yeah, that'll happen, and then we just continue on. That was awkward, until we get to this spot. And this is the ledge we're actually going to QSG off of. It's really awkward, as you'll see here. It's a small jump from here, this is where we're going to start, up onto here, and then this. And because we're at full speed, we'll need to slow down. So yeah, usually I like achieving that with a little left press. Some people just don't even do that, they just hold off of right for a little bit. So really preference, but I prefer pressing left, doing a slight turn back, and then you just do turn back and QSG. Obviously you'll have more speed than that, so it'll work. But after that, let's just say you get the QSG, you're just going to keep going. Oops. That was pretty cool. You're just going to keep going until you hit the end of the level. I mean, and that's quite literally it. There is one more, I don't know why I'm unmorphing, but you just go body everyone. There is another spot you can get QSG off of if you miss the first one, so I'll try to show that off, but first let's just go through a normal run. So just unmorphs here, don't unmorph up here, unmorph down there, onto this gap, then we do turn back and QSG. I missed it, that was bad, but I can show the backup spot. So because I missed it there, I can still have it here. So if I just could do this, slow down, and then QSG here, yeah, I got it there. So that's a nice little backup if you miss it at the first spot, and obviously you'll just keep bodying until you hit the end. And honestly, I've never seen a meteor hit me on the bridge, so fingers crossed, but I think the bridge is safe if you just keep going and don't jump. So yeah, you don't even need to worry about the bridge and how you used to. But yeah, let me try to actually show the correct QSG. So, don't do that. Don't hit the Kabam. That's bad. But yeah, beginning should be trivial. Just jump over these guys. And then QSG. So this, slow down, and I messed up. See, this is actually surprisingly skillful, because you have to slow down just the right amount. It's more of a left press than you'd expect, and honestly I'd probably recommend going for much more of a left press than you think you should. Like, I was not doing that right there. Let me try it again. And there it is. I mean, you saw I slowed down pretty massively, honestly. But overall, in the long run, it's going to save time just because I have QSG, and it's more guaranteed that I have QSG. And just getting to 8 Tower 2, which is the whole point of Shell Route, is just so important. You just want to make sure you get it. So make sure you take your time with the QSG and actually get it. Obviously don't stop and be weird about it, but just make sure you get it and are not trying to be too optimal. Like that. I mean, yeah. Again, it is the most difficult QSG of the run, so just keep that in mind. It's going to take a lot of work, but like everything in Shell Route, it always takes a lot of work, so yeah. Very, very cool. You always get high 72s pretty much. And yeah, that should be 8-8. And we're pretty much done with the tutorial here. I think I'm just going to cut real quick so I can talk about something I really wanted to. So, boom. All right, real quick, I just wanted to highlight a recent development that we actually made for QWarp itself. So I actually went in and tasked out all the possible button combinations for QWarp and found all of them here. So they're all documented here, and this should give like a better understanding of how to actually perform QWarp, because I don't think I explained that very well in the shell part 1, or at least we didn't have the knowledge at that point. So yeah, here's the actual button inputs. I can kind of run you down what they are, what I'm trying to say here. So as you jump, let's say that the frame that you jump is frame 1. You're gonna obviously press down and A to get your jump, and then on the 27th frame, or others as I'll soon mention, on let's say the 27th frame, you'll release A, and then on the 32nd frame you'll release down, and that should guarantee that you get QWarp because that's the actual button inputs. So that's about double frame perfect if you get the best case. So yeah, this is the path for the best case, and then obviously here are some other cases that can also happen. So what all this means is that if you release A on the 20th frame and then repress it on the 21st and then release down on the 29th frame, you'll also get QWarp. So yeah, these are all the 6 cases that could happen. This is the one you really want, the one that I actually highlighted here as well, because you can repress A at any time, so it's the nicest one. But just a general pattern to point out is that most of them, you'll see 20, 21, 24, 25, 25, 26. The A repress frame is the immediate frame after the A release frame. So you want to repress A as soon as possible, just in case you hit these other cases, so that you have a chance of hitting them. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out, just because, you know, to get it out there, because I think this is really important information that I don't really want people missing out on, especially because I wasn't able to highlight it in shell part 1. But yeah, that's that right there. And I guess we're pretty much done with the entire tutorial. Like, well, we're done with shell route, obviously. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about the entire tutorial itself. Unless something new develops, I think this is pretty much just it. So I guess I'd like to just pretty much put out there, thank you to everyone who watched. I really appreciate it. It's really awesome of you guys, whether you're trying to learn or just watching for fun. I really appreciate you watching all the videos, and it's just really cool to see support that's happened with that. So yeah, I appreciate everyone that's done that. And if you are not actively a member of the community, I would highly, highly, highly recommend just like hopping in the Discord and talking to some guys, asking some questions. There's some really useful information there, and a lot of amazing guys that can answer questions for you. And yeah, if it wasn't for them and for how fun the game actually is, I would not have spent my thousands of hours playing it. So yeah, I just want to put a big thank you out there while I kind of round this tutorial down. And yeah, I don't think there's really much more I have to say. I just appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you have learned from all of my resources. So yeah, you all have a nice day, and see ya.
Yes. Yo. Yes, I did it. Yes. Yes. Let's go.